Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm going to talk about tensegrity today. My goal is that you'll have a little better understanding of how the human body moves and functions, and that will help you with your future yoga classes. So, um, I'm sure that we've all been in different classes and even some of my classes in which we've given great emphasis to individual parts of the body. Like, well, today we'll work our biceps, or we'll be working our hamstrings or our hips. And while that can be helpful, sometimes it really doesn't give us the full picture or an accurate picture of how biomechanics really work. So it's not possible to work just one part of the body in isolation to all others. And that's because we're an interconnected whole. And the body is connected, completely connected through the fascia, the myofascia. And the fascia is one unified connective tissue, which literally runs from head to toes and encapsulates every bone, every organ, every muscle. And it not only wraps around these parts of the body, but it also runs through them and it gives our body its shape and its form. So to think that we can work certain areas without it having an effect or influence in the whole is just not possible. Tensegrity literally means tension integrity, and with integrity meaning shape or form. So it means that your integrity or form is held or maintained through tension. And again, this tension is the myofascia, which is the unified whole through the body. The bones act like floating struts, which push out into this fascia or connective tissue. So you can think about your fascia or the soft tissue being like a suit, a soft tissue suit, and then your bones literally float within that soft tissue suit. So, looking at the skeleton, and we've all been taught anatomy through looking at something very similar to this. But the skeleton is held together through rods and pins and bands and a rod. And most of us are not held together like this. So, you have to wonder if you took apart all of these rods and screws, what would happen? Well, the skeleton would fall to the floor. But somehow we remain upright as a biological system, and that's through our tension, the unified tension of the fascia. So we still have the bones, we've got those right when we look at the skeleton, but the skeleton doesn't show us the soft tissue. And the soft tissue is literally what's holding you upright, and it's what's giving everything inside of these bones, all of your organs, giving it form. And not to mention holding them in their shape and in their place. So think about, how does your heart stay where your heart is located? I mean, how does the liver stay in place? Well, it's held in place by our fascia. So it's very important work, and it's really nice in yoga because yoga is about unification, is about joining with the whole, feeling the wholeness, and it's nice when we have a movement method which completely and 100% supports and reinforces this holistic nature which we already know is present. It's also tensegrity also is about distribution of forces. So when we apply force in one part of the body, it affects another part. So again, to think that we can work in isolation is misleading. So this is how it explains if you're experiencing tension or an injury in your shoulder that somehow your knee goes out. Well, it's because the fascia, this soft connective web, which is holding all the parts together, a unified web, gets bunched or kinked or injured or sutured in certain areas, and it's no longer lying in its smoothness in a way that's uniform and in the lines in which are optimal. So the yoga practice can very much help us to smooth out the connective tissue so that it's supporting and holding the bones in a way that are productive to our health and not detrimental to that. So I want to leave you with the idea of these bones floating, and that when we really begin to understand our fascia, our connective tissue, how we can work with this connective tissue in our yoga practice to begin to realign our bones, the connective tissues will literally draw the bones into the position where they need to be in your body, so that the struts pressing out, which are the bones, the connective tissue hugging in, the force of tension hugging in, which is the connective tissue. These two parts, the yin and the yang, stand balanced with one another and support each other. So it's really exciting and it's a lot of fun. And it really helps to move our yoga practice into a whole nother area. So we no longer have to, spend time, just working in individual parts. We know that we will really work the whole all the time, all the parts working the whole all the time. So it's a lot of fun, and I hope that this helped even a little to take you on your yoga practice with this Tensegrity Flow Yoga with me. And please, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll keep putting videos out there and hopefully becoming better at explaining as time goes on. But thank you for taking the time to watch, and I really do hope that it's helped with your knowledge. Namaste.